I wanted to address something which you may have been hearing about, came up in the Jewish news. It's not international news. Oftentimes, we have loud and public conversations in which people who are thought leaders basically give a prescription for how they think things should be. And many people have prescriptions for what the priority should be for the Jewish people who, no secret, are facing all kinds of challenges. So you may have heard that recently Bret Stephens, who we have had here as a guest speaker, who is a journalist who writes for the New York Times, he suggested that we need to be spending fewer resources on fighting anti-Semitism and more resources on sustaining Jewish identity. And so here's what he said: the fight against anti-Semitism, which consumes tens of millions of dollars every year in Jewish philanthropy, is a well-meaning but mostly wasted effort. We should spend the money and focus our energy elsewhere. And he actually indicated that the ADL should be dismantled and that we should be spending our resources on behalf of Jewish identity, leading the CEO of the ADL, who we know very well, Jonathan, to respond as follows: security and identity aren't competing priorities. They are inseparable preconditions for Jewish flourishing in an open society. And ultimately, in an article which Jonathan wrote, he said, the work is not either or, it is both and, done better. So, as I said last week, the rabbi's job is to shed Torah light, Jewish tradition light, on important conversations that we are having. So here is what this rabbi wants to say, mining Jewish tradition. Of course, it has never been either or. Our ancestors were brilliant at protecting ourselves and also sustaining a rich, multi-textured identity. And since Purim is coming up, I am going to say that we can protect ourselves and chew Hamantaschen at the same time. That should not be such a radical thing to say. We have always done it. And what I want to do in these moments is actually unpack the 4 mitzvot associated with Purim. And you could do this all year round. You could do it with Passover. You could do it with Rosh Hashanah. But since Purim is coming up, I will use this as an example of how it is that we manage both to defend ourselves and also to sustain a rich, joyful, impactful identity. So the first mitzvah associated with Purim is Megillah, reading the Megillah. Well, you read the Megillah, and what does the Megillah tell you? That 2 individuals very carefully used all of the resources at their disposal in order to ensure that harm not befall the Jewish people. They said to themselves, and by they, of course, I mean Esther and Mordechai, and here I'm paraphrasing, there is a homicidal lunatic who wants to destroy our people. And he has the ear of the narcissistic king who seems to do the last thing that the person who flattered him asks him to do. What shall we do? Now, one option is that you continue to teach the children, Mode'ani lefanecha. Come on, boys and girls. Aren't you proud to be Jewish? And ignore the threat of Haman having convinced the king to massively slaughter the Jewish people. How foolish would that have been? To focus entirely on inculcating joyful identity without responding to the very real danger that the entire Jewish people faced. So what did they do? They hatched a plan. Now, this sermon can give birth to 20 other sermons, including the relative safety of Jewish people without sovereignty and with sovereignty. Let's not forget, the Purim story is about how we manage to garner our resources when we do not have sovereignty, Mordechai becomes Mishneh LeMelech Achashverosh. He becomes number 2, which is the Megillah's way of saying outside of Medinat Yisrael, the best we can hope for is number 2. Interesting, if you want to look at it as a subtle Zionist polemic, another sermon. But the first mitzvah of Purim is read the story about how our ancestors used their resources to fight a threat. Second mitzvah of Purim, Mishloach Manot Ish El Reyehu. We are going to send each other gifts. What's that about? Part of Jewish identity is building a rich communal sense of connection. We want to feel connected to each other. We want to support and to sustain each other, and that is foundational to who we are as Jewish people. Third mitzvah, Matanot le'evyonim. We're also going to reach out at times even beyond our community. We're going to take care of people. So look what we can do all at the same time. We can protect ourselves. We can grow inter-religious connections, intra-religious connections, first among the Jewish people. And we also do good things to be supportive of others who are in need. We can do all of those things. And the fourth mitzvah is the Seudah, is the joyful feast that we have. We can also experience joy. So it isn't just that we can be mindful of danger and we can also experience joy. All 4 things. We protect ourselves. We strengthen our interpersonal connections among the Jewish people. We are good, decent human beings to people who are in need, because that's what good human beings do. And finally, we rejoice, because being Jewish should not ever feel like a burden. It should feel like a joy. Every year, I have a number of gatherings with our graduating high school seniors. And of course, we talk about the threat of anti-Semitism. Of course, we want them to know how to respond on college campuses. What are their resources? We also talk about maintaining Jewish identity when they're away from home. Are you going to go to Hillel? Are you going to have Shabbat dinner? How are you going to talk to your roommate, if your roommate is of another faith, about what it means for you to be Jewish? And it's not just fighting off the bad guys, it's also bringing goodness into the world. And so that's really a microcosm of what we try to do all year round with all ages here at Temple Israel. So to say that it's one or the other misses the point, and I would echo Jonathan's words, that we need to do both ends. And of course, we need to try to do everything even better than we are doing it right now. In our mission statement, we don't primarily focus on responding to the dangers that face us. Though God knows, as a synagogue, we care about security and we care about illuminating dangers and we care about fighting back. What do we say? Temple Israel is a place where people discover the joy and the power of Judaism to help bring blessings to our lives and to our world. That's it, folks. Judaism helps us bring blessing to our lives and to our world. So we will respond to the bad guys, but we will never let them define us. We can do both and, not just as Purim is approaching, but all year round. Shabbat Shalom.